Welcome to the Understanding on Economic Development and Cooperation Fund. The video consists of the following contents. Firstly, I will explain what is ODA and Korea's current ODA system, followed by overview of EDCF, its financing modalities, project cycle, and finally, project cases. What is ODA? Official Development Assistance is defined by the OECD Development Assistance Committee, which is DOC, as government aid that promotes and specifically targets the economic development and welfare of developing countries. To precise, ODA flows to countries and territories on the DOC list of ODA recipients and to multilateral development institutions and should be provided by official agencies of donor countries, state and local governments, or by their executive agencies. ODA's objectives are administered with the promotions of the economic development and also the welfare of developing countries as its main objectives. For instance, military aid or the security interest except UN peacekeeping mission, aid for religious goal and transactions that have a primarily commercial objectives are not eligible for ODA. Finally, ODA is concessional in character, that is, grant element is diversified according to recipient's income group, and ODA should abide by this element. For LIC and LDC, ODA's grant element should be over 45%, with 9% discount rate, while grant element should be higher than 15% with 77% discount rate for LMIC and 10% with 6% discount rate for UMIC. Grant elements refer to difference between loan principal and present value of repayment, which is the sum of principal and interest. As percentage supported by grant element, lower interest rate, longer repayment, and grace period guarantee higher grant element, which is more profitable for recipient countries. If you want to calculate grant element, divide the difference between loan principal and present value of repayment by loan principal. Present value is the value of an expected income streams determined as of the date of valuation. For instance, if you borrow $10 billion with 10 years equal repayment, with discount rate of 5% and no grace period, the grant element would be about 22.8%. Mainly, ODA is categorized by two types. Bilateral ODA is directly provided to recipient countries by donors, while multilateral ODA is supported through multilateral institutions such as UN and MDBs. As you can see, bilateral ODA consists of various types. ODA can be provided through various types of finance, mainly by concessional loan and grant. Concessional loan requires repayment after grace period. Mainly, ODA loan is eligible for public infrastructure development projects. On the contrary, grant refers to finance without repayment, and you can see the examples for grants. Next, we'll look into the Korea's ODA system and governance. The history of South Korea's ODA entails both experiences as a recipient and donor country. After Korean War in 1950s, with help from the US, Korea achieved dramatic economic development by using aid for building economic and social infrastructure. Subsequently, per capita income increased over 300-fold from the year 1954 to the year 2020. In addition, by establishing EDCF, which is Economic Development and Cooperation Fund for ODA operation, Korea initiated function as donor, followed by the establishment of KOICA, ODA institutions for grants. In 1995 and 2000, Korea graduated from recipient country list from World Bank and OECD DOC respectively, and became the member of OECD DOC in 2010. After Korea joined as the member of OECD DOC in 2010, Korea's ODA governance is based on framework and presidential decree on international development cooperation, strategy plan on international development cooperation, and midterm strategies with 5-year period. Committee for International Development and Cooperation, chaired by Prime Minister, leads and sets broad strategic guidelines. Under the CIDC, 2 key ministries guide development of policy and oversee operations and management of the ODA resources. Under MOEF, the KAKSIM identifies, develops, executes, and evaluates the loan programs, and under Ministry of Foreign Affairs, KOICA executes ODA grants. As you can see, you can check the precise structure for Korea's ODA governance. Additionally, you can see Subcommittee for Evaluation, the entity chaired by Deputy Minister for Planning and Coordination. The committee is in charge of ODA evaluation, ranging from projects to schemes. Korea achieved a sharp increase in ODA volume with the fastest annual growth rates among DOC donors. As of 2018, Korea disbursed $2.4 billion for ODA, equivalent of 0.15% of GNI. According to Korea ODA's net disbursement in 2017 and 2018, you can see the increase in 2018. The proportion of bilateral and multilateral ODA is approximately 74 to 26. For bilateral ODA, the proportion between ODA loan and grant is 37 to 63. The grant ODA is not only limited to KOICA, and other relevant ministries and institutions are also engaged in it. From now on, I would like to precisely explain EDCF. Before we start, I prepared a short clip about EDCF. Shall we watch?
자, EDCF, Economic Development Cooperation Fund의 약자로서 우리말로는 대외경제협력기금을 뜻 말입니다. 이 기금은 개발도상국 경제, 사회, 인프라 건설에 필요한 자금들을 지원하는 개발도상국에는 이 베트남, 방글라데시, 캄보디아 그리고 스리랑카 등 이 개발도상국은 이 EDCF에 자금을 지원받아가지고 경제발전에 토대가 되는 EDCF 지원의 금액이 가장 많은 그런 베트남에는 우리나라의 경인고속도로와 같은 자 이렇게 의미 있는 일이 EDCF가 함께하는 겁니다. EDCF는 뭐?
대외경제협력기금이요.
도움을 주고받는 두 나라 사이에 EDCF가 있습니다.
EDCF는 대외경제협력기금. 네, 박찬호는 그럼 EDCF는 뭐야? 스트라이크.
According to the Economic Development and Cooperation Fund Act, Article 1, EDCF is established in order to assist industrial development and economic stabilization of the developing countries and to promote economic cooperation or interchange between Korea and countries. This represents the main objectives of EDCF, established by EDCF Act, an enforcement decree, entrusted by Ministry of Economy and Finance, which is MOEF. Korea Exim Bank, KAKSIM, is responsible for the operations of EDCF, including project identification, appraisal, execution of loan agreement, and support partner countries by extending concessional loans for infrastructure projects. Currently, EDCF comprises 2 groups, 6 departments, and 16 overseas offices in charge of EDCF coordination. EDCF Planning Group has 3 departments: Planning and Coordination Department, Operation Cooperation Department, and MDB Operation Department. EDCF Operation Group has 2 departments. They are divided by regions. In addition, EDCF Evaluation and Compliance Team is an independent department from the group to ensure its autonomy. Operation principles of EDCF have two main pillars. First, EDCF aims at achieving sustainable growth of partner countries' development priorities, as well as promoting economic development and welfare. Second, EDCF strengthens economic ties between Korea and partner countries by extending Korea's economic fields and increase mutual economic transaction. As the resource is limited, EDCF strategically operates the fund under midterm fund operation strategy, prioritizing core partners and sectors, which ensures smart financial package for customized solution and integrated regional and sector development. Last but not least, collaborative partnership with domestic and international ODA institutions and private stakeholders. Since 1987, EDCF has committed $18.1 billion to 57 countries with 490 projects. In particular, in last year, EDCF commitment amount exceeded $1 billion for the first time. This year, EDCF focuses on policy-based and equipment loan for COVID-19 preparedness and response. Aligned with Korea's entire ODA, EDCF's priority region is Asia and is expanding to support Africa. Focusing on economic development, EDCF has provided ODA loan to main infrastructure area such as transportation, water and sanitation, and health. EDCF's priority sectors are transport, railways, metro, airport, and seaport, energy, which are renewable power, transmission, and smart grid. ICT and service comprises of e-government, intelligent, and transport system, and also health, education, and regional development. Then, how does EDCF finance development projects? EDCF has various modalities, and majority of its implementations are through development project loan, which provides funds to the partner governments for infrastructure projects such as road, bridge, railway, and hospital. Currently, as a response to COVID-19, EDCF is expanding support to equipment loan and program loan. Equipment loan provides to procure equipment and other material, while program loan provides funds to the partner government to assist them in pursuing comprehensive, sectoral, or thematic development plans and programs. Besides, EDCF also has PPP loan and other modalities. EDCF provides loan amount up to 100% of total project cost, guaranteed by central government or central bank. Interest rate and repayment period are applied differently according to the country's income level, preferential sector, or Korean consulting service. Additionally, EDCF is increasing co-financing with MDBs to meet growing demands of partner countries for large-scale development projects. EDCF also strengthens cooperation with MDBs through MOU or co-financing facility with ADB, World Bank, IDB, and GAVE. As of June 20th, EDCF approved 56 co-financing projects with total commitment amount of $2.7 billion. Alternatively, blended finance can be another option for large-scale projects. According to OECD DOC Blended Finance Principles, the definition of blended finance is the strategic use of development finance for the mobilization of additional finance towards sustainable development in developing countries, with additional finance referring primarily to commercial finance. ODA can catalyze non-concessional finances such as export credit and commercial loans to be mobilized for large-scale projects. Blended finance can be operated in each project cycle. In the case of KEXIM, during project identification, knowledge sharing program, and feasibility study facility is available for involvement at the beginning level. Then, financial packages such as MDB co-financing, development finance, and mixed credit. Here is an indicative case of blended finance. EDCF also can finance PPP projects, and the loans could go directly to the SPC as equity or provide loans directly to the government to finance their equity portion of the project. Currently, EDCF transfers its focus from standalone project to program-based approach by diversifying loan facility such as sector development loan, program loan, and project preparation facility. Aligned with SDG, EDCF assists sustainable growth by prioritizing projects dealing with climate changes, covering renewable energy, energy efficiency, and low carbon transportation. In addition, to diversify financing for development and promote its mobilization. EDCF pursues catalyzing private investment such as PPP loan and private sector two-step loan. This is the end of the part 1. Now we move on to EDCF project cycle. EDCF's project cycle consists of identification, project preparation and loan request, appraisal, pledge, agreement, arrangement, and loan agreement, project implementation, such as employment of consultants, procurement, and disbursement, and finally, monitoring and evaluation. To specify this, you can check the procedure for each step from identification to evaluation in a whole scope. The main purposes to be considered for project identification are to align with the strategic operation of EDCF, as well as country operation plan with midterm predictability. In this regard, the Korean government establishes country partnership strategy, which is CPS, customized to partner countries, reflecting their individual long-term development plans and strategies. In line with such efforts, EDCF also establishes annual EDCF midterm operation strategy in 3-year basis. The paper states EDCF's ODA allocation by sector and country. Then, the government and EDCF carry out project identification through governmental policy dialogue and consultation meeting. In this process, overseas networks of EDCF play an important role in monitoring midterm pipelines for projects. Following the partner country's decision for loan approval, the government, mainly by the Ministry of Finance, officially requests the EDCF loan for implementation of a project containing loan request, feasibility study outcomes, and implementation plan to the Korean government. Loan request should be forwarded through a diplomatic channel. MOF officially sends the request to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. MOFA forwards the request to Korean Embassy, and the Embassy transfers the request to headquarters of MOFA in Korea. Development Finance Bureau of MOEF, Korea, receives the request from MOFA, and the Ministry requests project appraisal to EDCF. Preliminary review. When Korea Exim Bank, EDCF, is asked to appraise a project in terms of eligibility for an EDCF loan, it first confirms the country's eligibility for ODA provision according to the OECD DAC. While reviewing the country's repayment risk, the project feasibility for development, and whether the project is commercially viable or not through feasibility study, project questionnaire, and legal questionnaire. For successful implementation of the project, it is necessary to clearly identify the project objective and preparation status to efficiently assess the economic, financial, technical, and environmental feasibility of the project. Basic information in regard to these issues is collected via legal questionnaires, which are sent to the borrower or the project executing agency, which is PEA. Appraisal mission team CACSIM dispatches an appraisal mission team consisting of EDCF and external consultant to the partner country for detailed appraisal of the project. The mission team finalizes and signs the minutes of discussion, which is MOD, with the partner country government, based on the outcomes of the appraisal. Preparation and submission of appraisal report to MOEF. Korea Exim Bank, EDCF, completes the appraisal report based on the loan request, feasibility study report, project and legal questionnaire results, MOD, and submits related documentation to the MOEF. MOEF reviews the document and officially approves the project through consultation with other relevant ministries. After MOEF notifies the partner country of the outcomes through MOFA, agreement is concluded between the Korea and the partner country's government, introducing the basic framework for EDCF loan and outlining the responsibilities of both parties. This agreement remains in force for a minimum of 10 years. The two governments also sign an arrangement which is AR for an individual project, stating the basic financing terms and conditions. However, if the two governments have signed the framework arrangement, which is FA, they are allowed to omit arrangements for each individual project. FA defines the whole amount of EDCF loan allocated to partner countries and provides the basis for consultation on project pipelines. Usually, the FA is enforced between 3 to 5 years and should be renewed after its termination on amount or period. After negotiations over the proposed loan are completed for each project, loan agreement should be signed by Korea Exim Bank and the partner country. The loan agreement becomes effective as soon as condition precedent documents, such as proof of authority, specimen signatures, and legal opinions are submitted by the partner country and accepted by Korea Exim Bank. Implementation process consists of 3 procedures: consultant employment, procurement, and disbursement. Employment and procurement are under the responsibility of a partner country, but should be approved by EDCF to ensure the transparency of employment and bidding procedures. Consultants are in charge of detailed design, supporting bidding procedures, including drafting bidding documents and construction supervision. For procurement, the partner country is responsible for the implementation of the project, and PEA prepares specifications and evaluates bids for the procurement of goods and services for the project. EDCF reviews these activities to ensure that the procurement guidelines have been followed fully. Disbursements under the loan are made according to the procedures stipulated in loan agreement, and repayment begins after the grace period. After all the implementations are completed, EDCF conducts reliable and independent project evaluation for ongoing and completed projects to assess the relevance, efficiency, effectiveness, impact, and sustainability of the project, providing valuable lessons to partner countries and other donor countries. First, the PEA should submit Project Completion Report, which is PCR, within 6 months after the project completion date or a later date as shall be agreed upon in the loan agreement. EDCF subsequently checks and evaluates its adequacy and conducts a project completion evaluation, usually 2 years after a completion evaluation. Ex-post evaluation is conducted by using various methods, including interview, literature reviews, and field studies. The ex-post evaluation assesses achievement of development goals, relevance of the project, problems in project operation and maintenance, impact on the project area and partner country, to provide necessary feedback based on the evaluation results. According to OECD Evaluate, robust, independent evaluation of development programs provides information about what works, what does not, and why. This learning contributes to improving the development effectiveness of aid and helps hold donors and partner country governments accountable for results. Finally, we will delve into EDCF project cases. Here you can see the current status of EDCF loan commitments in global scope. In 2019, EDCF committed 30 projects in 18 countries. Here are the pictures of projects in construction or after its completion. First, transportation bridge in Vietnam and airport in Philippines. Potable water system in Nicaragua and integrated management project in Laos. Medical center project in Tanzania and vocational training school in Cambodia. Photovoltaic power plant project in Mozambique and power transmission project in Ethiopia. EDCF approved projects in maritime sector for the first time in 1994 in China. Then you can check the main projects in maritime sector committed by EDCF. New Cebu International Container Port Project is the largest scale in the sector with $173 million approved in 2017. The output of project is construction of container facility for 2,000 TEU vessels and relevant infrastructures. The project establishes new port in Cebu Island to play an important role as an international hub port and share the excessive cargo volume of the existing Cebu port. In Senegal, EDCF committed maritime infrastructure establishment project in 2 phases, respectively in 2010 and 2015. These projects focus on construction of maritime infrastructure, grab-type dredger, and dredging support fleets. Transportation systems between Dakar and Casamance region was established through the project and also contributed to develop and maintain the inland waterway along the rivers, establishing the marine oil logistics in the mid-area of Senegal. Another project related to supply of refrigerated trucks and construction of a refrigerated warehouse in Senegal. The project has the both characteristic of equipment loan by supplying 55 refrigerated trucks and development project loan by supporting the construction of refrigerated warehouse. The pictures represent the area of maritime sector in Senegal where the EDCF loans were provided for its infrastructure. Most recently, EDCF approved a maritime-related project in Angola, which is construction of fish processing facilities, cold and refrigerated storage project. The project aims at new construction of refrigerated and cold storage and remodeling of fish processing facilities, refrigerated storage and quick freeze room. This is the end of the lecture. I hope you have fruitful times to learn EDCF, ODA bilateral loan in Korea. If you have more inquiries or commitments, please do not hesitate to contact me through email. I will leave the address with the video afterwards. Thank you very much for your attention and participation.